Hello guys, welcome to video on Aion, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the future of Aion, especially on the North American servers. Some of you, if you are following the more the YouTube community about Aion, if you are following the Facebook groups or if you follow in the forums, you might have noticed that Saiwo, one of the veteran players on one of the former veteran players, so I should say, correct myself, on the European servers, recently made a video in which he talked about the reasons why he's not playing Aion anymore. And for all of these reasons, he's blaming Gameforge as the game publisher. And those of you who are looking forward to playing not under Gameforge, or who are already playing not under Gameforge but under NC West, which is basically a direct offspring of the mother company in the West, and you are playing on the North American servers, might be wondering, well, a lot of these things that Saiwo talked about do not really concern us. But in fact they do, and I want to talk about what the North American Aion has become and what's it gonna be. And also I'm going to talk about the reasons why I still play Aion and didn't quit like Saiwo did. Right, so let's get straight into it. And for that I'll have to return with you to the old times, because I see a lot of people on the Facebook groups, they say like, oh, you know, the good old times of Aion when Kedelem and Denaria were still around, you know, the good old times 4.0. No, folks, those are the good, let's call them good, but they are not old times, they are new times, right? Old times of Aion patches 1.1, 1.2, 1.5, 2.0, with the first official expansion pack of Aion, the Assault on Balaria, 2.3, 2.0, those were the original patches of Aion. Maybe even 2.7, but here we are already starting to get into the new mindset of Aion. But yes, it was still the original Aion, the original game, where, as Saiwo said in his video, if it was a Korean grinder, that's what we loved about it. If you devoted yourself to any area of the game, you were strongly rewarded. So it took a long time to level up. Yes, it took a long time to level up. It was a little bit faster in the lower levels, and then around 45, which was the, you know, when the cap was 50, and around level 45 the leveling process started going down. But it was not that much of a problem. And you know why, folks? You know why? The reason why it was so, guys, was because you were grinding all the time, right? And you just needed really for the grind, or you were a PvP player, you were a competent, you were trying to be a competent PvP player, so we wanted to start doing the big instances as soon as possible, right? You could do Steel Rake, you could do Theolabs, Adma. Took a long time, but it was very rewarding. It was very, very rewarding. Or you could just, you know, you had your platinum coin gear at 46. By the time you got to 46, you already had more than enough platinum coins from the repeatable quests that I can promise you. And you went out to the open world, to Aion, to Beluslan, and you PvP'd against people who were already 50, because most of them didn't even have a mirror gen set, let alone an Abyss set. And you went out and you could PvP against them. You could fight as a 46 against 50s in Anuhard gear. If you had the platinum coin gear, no problem. Even 1v1s you could win, no problem, depending on your skill, depending on how well you manage your skills. Right, folks, you could win. So you could have your fun that way, no problem. Nothing was limiting you. If you were gathering, if you were leveling up your gathering, you could make your own scrolls, you could make your own pots, but not only that, you could actually, from the couple of days of gathering, if you gathered 2-3 hours every day, after a week, after 2 weeks, you could make your own piece of armor that was on par with the in-game armor. You see this progression. You gathered your materials, you crafted, and you got a piece of gear that's actually really damn good. It was good, and after you plushed it, after you socketed it, you felt like a king. You could PvP, you could do anything you wanted. And this only required two things: a subscription fee, which was $15, and your time, right? But the MMO was, yes, very grindy, very hard, very rewarding. And now, imagine that you wanted to be the top of the line in PvP. You wanted to be the absolute best that you could be. Let's talk about this. So what you had to do? You had to farm Theolabs or Adma if you were, or even better if you were a gladiator, then Dropnir Cave. But yes, if you were, for example, Templar, you would farm Theolabs or Adma for your extendable weapon. For any other class, you farmed DPS rank for the Eternal Tabata weapon, which was the top shit that nobody had, right? But you could still get it, folks. You could still get it. And after you got that, you farmed AP, and the AP, where did you get the AP? Well, you got the AP from open world PvP. You could get AP from the Upper Abyss forts, yeah, sure. You could get AP from other means as well, but not nearly. There was no Esoterus back then. There was no Hexway. There was no EB, right? The medals and the medals came from sieges, only from sieges, and the AP came from open world PvP. That means that you PvP'd your way up to the next set of gear, right? That changed with the raise of the level cap to 55, because you had stuff like Abyssal Splinter, Esoterus, where you could already PvE your way through. But if you have done that, if you have PvP'd a shitload, and you got your Abyss sets, you got your E40, right? You got your E50 in the end, and you had E50, you had level 50 accessories, and you had your extendable or your Tabata with your PvP fuse under it. All it took, folks, was your time, and you felt the progress, and you felt rewarded every step of the way. Every day when you PvP'd, at the end of the day you knew that you were one step closer to the gear that you wanted, and you had fun in the process because you PvP'd and you liked the PvP. Then, with 3.0 it changed. Suddenly all you had to do was some repeatable quests for Mithril medals, and of course sieging for Mithril medals. But for Abyss, nobody even PvP'd anymore for Abyss points. What's the point of PvPing for Abyss points when you can get much more Abyss points in the same time just by doing Unstable Abyss Splinter, just by farming the keys in the Eye of Tiamaranta, or just by doing Hexway, by doing Satra Treasure Hoard, stuff like this, right? When the cap was 60, people already managed, or even when the cap was 55, people already managed to solo Esoterus, right, or duo it in the worst case. So you had a steady income of big AP that was much more than what you could get from the open world PvP. And let's talk the PvE side of the game here as well, folks. This is what was your routine when you wanted to be a top PvPer. You paid your subscription fee, and then the rest of the time you just PvP'd and PvP'd and PvP'd and PvP'd. And forget about the cash shop. There was no such thing as a cash shop. There were only costumes in the cash shop, and some consumables that nobody really cared about. Some scrolls, some potions, some candy, stuff like that. But the candy, not the kind of candy that everybody uses now, but candy that was just purely for cosmetic effect, like the Mookie candies and such. Then, suddenly, 4.0 came around, and we were back to the open world PvP again, right? Except now there was a fast track server. So during the leveling process, people did not really get to PvP that much. And if you wanted to fight as a 55 in, for example, Stormwind gear, which was not easy to get in 3.0, still, because one bash run dropped one piece at best, so it was very grindy. If you wanted to PvP in Stormwing set against people in 60 Abyss gear, you already had a bad time, a very bad time, because that level 60 Abyss Gear had magic suppression and yours didn't, so you got wrecked, right? And then with 4.0 and the oncoming patches, NCSoft introduced beautiful stuff to us, like temperings, the plumes. The plumes were a big thing. At first, everybody was like, yeah, we're gonna get plumes, we're gonna get so much stronger. No, you are not. Because they will not allow you to get temperings in-game. You want temperings? Cash shop. And not like in Europe, where, because everybody already knew, everybody with half a brain or with previous experience already knew that Gameforge is a company that only cares about one thing in the world, and that is money. They don't care about players, they never did. Zero, no interest whatsoever. Don't believe their sugarcoating, don't believe their nice words. They don't care about you at all. When Gameforge took over from NC West, they took over the European servers. They said, oh, just a gold pack, it's just a temporary solution so that we can figure out how to block bots, and we're gonna remove the gold pack and we're gonna introduce ways that new players can achieve veteran status. Bullshit. Forget it, folks. That's never going to happen. And the veteran players who played before get a middle finger flipped right in front of their face, saying, hey, you know, if you want to continue playing on our servers, yes, you can play for free. Yes, you can even trade because you had a subscription before, so you are probably not a bot, right? Fact is, a lot of those people did use Aion Script and other similar programs in the past, but okay. But here is the catch. You can play on our servers, yes, alright. You can play for free, you can use the broker, you can use the LFG, because starters, if you don't have a gold pack on Europe, you cannot use the LFG, right? But you will have extremely horrible long cooldowns for every instance that will make your game unbearable to play. You will not be able to play at all. As Cybo said, yes, if you play 1 day per week, yes, you can play for free, absolutely for free, but that's not how MMOs are supposed to be played, guys. Get real, come on. This game is meant to be played 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day or more. If you cannot afford that, look for another MMO. If you want an MMORPG that you can play 1 day a week, 2 day a week tops, and still stay somewhat relevant for the in-game content, try Guild Wars 2. Yeah, that's a casual MMORPG. Aion is not. Forget about that. Now, you have on one side in Europe Gameforge, and the European people, they already knew that Gameforge is going to be shit, because a lot of them already played other different games under Gameforge in the past, so they knew that EU Aion is a no-no. It's just no way that they are gonna play on that. So a lot of people switched over to the North American Aion when free-to-play hit, and suddenly something happened. Slowly, patch by patch, month by month, year by year, there started to be 2 very separate groups in Aion on the North American servers. Let's just pretend that the European servers don't exist anymore, which is a fact. They really don't exist. You don't even need to call them Aion, because that's the thing that Gameforge likes to present as Aion is not Aion. It's just their cow, which they are milking and milking and milking and milking, and when the cow doesn't give money anymore, they're just gonna shoot it in the head and close the servers and call it quits. Let's talk about just North American Aion from this point. Suddenly there were 2 groups of players. One group who cannot really handle the competent part of the PvP and PvE, because they only play on the weekends, or they play every day, but they are like I don't care if it's S rank, if it's A rank that we get in an instance, as long as we have fun with friends, right? As long as as long as nobody feels pressured to perform better, we are good. And then the second option is the people who use the cash shop. And the middle ground between the players started disappearing, right? And there is a lot of frustrated players in the past few patches, and now I'm going to talk about this to you guys. Now I'm going to tell you what the current state of the game is, because on my YouTube channel, but also in game, because people know that I make guides and people know that I've been with Aion for pretty much 6 years now, so they know that they can ask me about a lot of stuff. They ask me, hey, I haven't played Aion, since 2011, since 2012. I want to come back. How is Aion in 2016? Is that the game? I want to come back to the game that I used to love, with the amazing mentoring system that had a point, with rewards for open world PvP that felt competitive, and I felt like I could really go out there and PvP even before I hit the max level, and I could have fun with my friends. The gear gap was not really all that big. Sure, the classes were imbalanced, but what MMORPG really has balanced classes? Let's face it, no MMORPG of this day has balanced classes. You know, I wanna come back to that game. Forget it. It's dead, Bob. The game that you knew doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist. It just isn't there. They could call this game, for all I know, Aion 2.0 or something completely different. Because, and these are the reasons. I'm going to make points and put timestamps in the description of the video, so that everybody can get into the part of the video that they are interested in. This is just like a beginning. I know I like to rant a lot, that's why this video is labeled to rant. Let's get into it. And the first category that interests most of the people, I think, is PvP. Yes, I want to come back. Yes, I want to PvP like in good old times. Open world PvP, lots of fun. No. No. You level up a fresh character, you hit 66, you go through the Agdeva quest, and you will hit, believe me folks, you will hit 66 so fast, you will have no time at all if you level just with the regular pace. If you just follow the dark blue quests, you will level at such a pace that at level 66 you will still be in the free handout gear from the campaigns, and if you try to go out of the city, you will get fucked up. You have no chance whatsoever, zero chance to win a match against a geared player. Even if there's 3 of you, even if you are playing with friends, there is 3-4 of you, and you kind of learn your classes, you rotate your CCs, you rotate your dots, you heal yourself, you BG yourself, you have very good cooperation. That player is still going to fucking wreck you, all 4 of you. And the reason why? Cash shop. So now you are presented with 2 options. Either A, as a PvPer, go through loads and loads and loads and loads of daily PvE, which is, by the way, the same instance over and over, Eternal Bastion, where you will slowly get your Abyss gear, right? And then after a couple of months, 1 or 2 months of grinding, of serious grinding every day, if you don't miss a single run, you can get your Abyss set, and then you can try, and maybe by then you will be like 69, 68, 69, you can go out, you can try to PvP again, and sure, you might take a little bit less damage, but you will still get wrecked. And you wanna know why? Because tempering. Pure plumes, accessories. So, if you want to PvP, you have to get your accessories to at least +3. That's mandatory, that's not an option. Alright, well, I can already hear you asking, but where do I get those tempering solutions that I temper the accessories with? The answer is nowhere. You don't. The only way to get the tempering solutions is A, through events, or B, through the cash shop. And the temperings on the cash shop are not always there like on EU. They are only there 1 week or 2 weeks in a year, right? So you must wait. And in the meantime, just get used to getting wrecked, because that's how it's gonna be for a long time. Right, so maybe you see this and you say, well, if not the PvP, I want to enjoy the PvE, right? I want to go into the instances, into the new content. Well, too bad, because you have to level up first. And if you want to level up, you will have to do Fissure of Oblivion. And if you want to do Fissure of Oblivion, you will need three things. You will need the Berdin stars, because without them it gives next to 0 XP at the higher levels. We are talking like 71, 72, etc. here. You are going to need reset scrolls, because you will have to run dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of instances of that same one instance, Fissure of Oblivion, to get your level raised. And you will need the XP charms. And you are asking, well, where do I get those things? Again, cash shop. And so, now you are leveled up and you start doing the PvE, and you finally get that piece of gear. You get that piece of gear that you really, really, really fucking wanted, and you gather a lot of mats, you grind mobs every day like a motherfucker, and you just grind the shit out of mobs. You take it as your second job, and you get your hands on an Omega Enchantment Stone to enchant that new weapon that you got, because the Omega Enchantment Stone, again, guess fucking what, it can only be obtained from the cash shop or from a high level dungeon, and there it's one Omega Stone in 3 hours that everyone wants from the group, so, divided by 6 people, the chance of getting one, and you slap that Omega Stone on there. Well, too bad, the weapon broke. Yes, you heard it, folks. Breakable gear in Aion, whatever, Abyss gear, PV gear, doesn't matter. You use the best stone there is in the game, and it will still break on you. You are fucked. You can start the grind all over again. And you might be wondering, well, I'm just gonna craft a weapon there. Then I'm gonna craft a really super strong weapon that's really good, and I don't need to grind instances for it. I will have a strong weapon. You won't, because there is no more crafting at the end game. Crafting got shot in the fucking head. Gathering before, you could gather the resources, you could make your own food, you can make your own potions. If you were lucky, you could get up to 27 or 30 materials from one node of tapping, because you had a chance to get a gold material that contained 27 of the regular ones. Well, now, folks, you can only get the regular ones. So forget about the blue ones. Forget about the green ones. Forget about the gold ones. All you can get is regular materials. And there is simply no recipes, no crafting recipes for end-game gear that would be somehow viable at endgame. There is simply no such gear. And then people say, well, but you can still get your accessories tempered even without spending money in the cash shop, right? And even if you do have to use cash shop, then well, the cash shop is very, very cheap compared to the European cash shop. You don't have to pay €5 for a tempering solution. You only have to pay, let's say, €2 for one tempering solution. Not 5, but 2. Okay, well, because you can get 4,000 Encoin for $50, and for for 4,000 Encoin you can get 20 tempering solutions. So that's $2.50 per tempering. But if you are one of those people that play from Europe and they went to play on the North American servers because you cannot play on Europe, because as I already said, we can just straight out ignore Gameforge and pretend that there is no European servers at all. Fact is, you won't be able to afford the cash shop, because in certain countries in Europe, including my own, Even if you have a full-time job and you would like to contribute something to Aion, you cannot because you are earning 400 fucking dollars per month. So forget about the cash shop, right? So what you want to do, well, yeah, you want to be competitive, you want to be up there, you want to be PvPing, but you can't. This game simply will not allow you to. Well, but you can still be somehow competitive. You know, look at yourself. You are a 4-star officer. You have tempered X. Yes, I have my accessories tempered to +3. Yes, I am a 4-star officer. Yes, I have +15 PvP gear. But that took me over a year. First, it took me over a year and a half to achieve, as compared to a couple of months in the past. Second of all, I've only got this gear thanks to events. If there was not for events and me having many outs and opening event bundles on them and getting Kina that way, there would be no way in hell that you could get this much Kina via normal in-game means. Because the inflation on the North American Aion is so big that Kina has basically no real value. A tempering solution is 500 million each when the events are not around. That's 1 billion Kina for 2 temperings which have a really really high chance of failing on your gear. And if you have to wait for events to get your gear, I do not consider that a viable model. The game is not rewarding, it's simply just like that. The game doesn't reward you for shit. You as a free-to-play player basically cannot be competitive because it just won't allow you to. So you will resign, and if you really love the game, you will just keep playing it, but it won't really be fun anymore for you because the company is not permitting you to do the things that you like. And now, imagine that you are just a casual player and you want to find a really good MMO when you used to like Aion, so why not try it? You want to quest around and you start up Aion and you turn the game on and you look at the map and you realize there are no fucking quests. Where are the quests? Why do I have no quests in my quest log? Well, someone at NCSoft decided that it would be a very good idea to hide all the basic quests from the game, which means all the quests besides the campaign ones and the ones that they highlighted for you to do, they just hide it all by default. So you have to go into the options and you have to click it manually to make those quests appear in the NPCs. When you talk to the NPCs, they won't even offer you the quest if you don't have that activated. And a new player will not know that. A new player will just turn away and say, this game is bullshit, it doesn't have any quests, I don't want to play it. And even if you Google your stuff, right, and you come to the realization that there are indeed quests, you will start to realize that the quests make zero sense. Because since 4.0 and even more so since 4.7 and the introduction of Etherdex, or 4.5 was it is absolutely apparent that nobody at NCSoft nor NC West cares about the lore of the game anymore. The lore is dead. It doesn't make any sense. It's all fucked up. It's all changed. It's all twisted. It doesn't add up to each other. The quests have things that go against things in other quests. Ether tags have quests for other classes have quests for ether tags. There is a 3,000 year hole in the lore of the game that nobody feels the need to explain. You've got 3-4 new Dragon Lords rampaging about. All of a sudden there's Arkdeva, some mysterious bullshit that nobody has somehow nobody noticed for 5,000 years. It just doesn't add up. Someone's losing fucking ground here. And they are not even pretending anymore to be fixing it. Well, and you wanna go to the forums maybe, and you wanna find out something about the lore of the game. Why is the lore so broken? And you go to the forums and you realize that the forums are broken as well. And the website is broken, and the database for the game, the official database, and the official guide for the game is 5 years outdated. And nobody fixes the forums, nobody fixes the website. They don't care. The only thing they care about, again, is cash shop. And it didn't used to be, it wasn't like this when Aion first went free to play in America. But what do you think, folks? What do you think the new players will think of the game when they come to a game where there is no quests, there is no PvE? The PvE is just, it is not, you are not encouraged to do it. What you are encouraged to do is kill a bunch of mobs, fetch this quest, go kill 10 mobs, come back, fetch another quest, go kill another 10 mobs. Many times the dialogue in the quests is not even fully translated from Korean, or it's broken, and this is supposed to be the biggest game out there. That's pretty sad, guys, don't you think? It's pretty sad. And it's not very bright, because without new players the game is gonna die. And the only people keeping this game alive so far are those people that just want to be competent no matter what, or they are Americans, they are high earning Americans who earn $3,000, $4,000 a month, and they just keep dropping $1,000 or $500, $700 every single fucking month to the game just to stay on pace with the newest additions in the game. And 5.3 is around the corner. We are getting bracelets, which is another beautiful pay to win item. And I talked about pay to win before. I made a video in which I said that even if something takes a shitload of time to get in the game, it's not pay to win. If you can get it in the game, and if you can get it in the cash shop, it's not pay to win as long as you can still get the things in the game. But the problem here is that with the bracelets and the pure plumes and the accessories and the new Abyss gear that is breakable, between all of that, it will take you a longer time to get all these things via normal in-game means than it will take for the next patch to come out. So basically, what this means, if you don't invest in the cash shop, if you don't drop hundreds of dollars in the cash shop, you are never going to truly be at endgame. And it's just gonna go downhill from here, because as we can see, the future patches from Korea, they bring zero new interesting content to the game. There is no new skins, no revival for crafting, no new interesting locations. All the skins and all the instances that are coming out are just remakes and retextures of the old instances and the old gear that we already had. The only thing that's changing is more items that they can sell in the cash shop to people who are willing to buy their shit. No, that's not gonna fly with me. And I used to be big about this game. I used to be so big about this game, actually. When the game was pay to play, I would grind every day, grind all the AP instances. I bought reset scrolls, I bought stuff like that. I had part-time jobs, so just that I could afford the subscription to the game, and so that I could afford stuff to, money to put into the game, just because I felt that the game deserves my support. And I could stay on the top with just my playtime. I didn't need any cash shop to be a general. I didn't need any cash shop to have my plus 15 Elite 50 Abyss gear. I didn't need any cash shop to have my plus 15 Yamanes bow. No, nothing of that. And there were no composite stones either, so I could mana stone my gear without having to, spend real cash on it, and without having to use bullshit like major felicitous socketings, so just that my mana stone doesn't break, because the mana stone itself costs more than the gear, like it is now. The Arkdeva mana stones, one mana stone, is more expensive than an entire set of fucking armor. That's not a really good economy, is it? That's not very nice. So there you have it. I'm a new player. I'm a returning player. I wanted to play Aion. I wanted to come back to the game that I once loved. Fuck no. Don't come back. Just don't. You will save yourself a lot of trouble. You will save yourself a lot of anger, a lot of tears. Just don't come back. It's not worth it anymore. If you want to be competitive, just don't come back. It's not worth it, trust me. And now to the final point and the final part of this video, because the video is titled also why I still play Aion. So here I'm going to tell you the reasons why I still play Aion. And these reasons are more clearly stated than the rest of the video, because these I have already thought out and I know precisely what they are. Reason number one is because there is no other top targeting MMO on the market. I don't like action combat MMOs personally. I like top targeting. I like my top targeting how it is. I just want a MMO that has this typical setup, healer, tank, DPS, and has top target. That's for me. Second, I love the lore of Aion. I love the world of Aion. I love just questing, exploring around, even though all of the new quests are, broken, but I can get over that, personally, because they're gonna be fixed eventually, or maybe even not. Third, I still do the lower level content. As you can see, I have a sort of in-game main, but I do spend much more time on lower level twins and alts, and I do all these old instances that I used to love, even though they do not present nearly as much of a challenge, but that is fixed, that is leveled out with the incompetence of the new players. Fourth, I like making guides. I like teaching new people, because I'm a firm believer that if somebody enters a MMO, then they should get guidance. They should be able to get guidance somehow, and they should be able to enjoy the game. And if the game publishers and the game developers refuse to provide guides and quality guides for the game and provide a guiding hand to the new players, then someone else has to do it for them, right? And that someone else is me. Number 5, I still have time, right? I don't have a full-time job. I'm a university student. I do have jobs here and there, and I make money, but I don't have a full-time job. So of course my studies are taking up a large portion of my time, but I can still devote enough time to Aion so that I'm able to play it. Because when I tried playing stuff like Guild Wars 2, that game is just way too easy for me. It requires way too low time per day. I just like games that are grindy. And the sixth reason is I managed to lower my expectations, and I'm not blindfolded. I see the direction the game is going, and I just realized that, without dropping large amounts of money on the game, I will never be in the top. I will never be the most competitive player there is, nor in PvP nor in PvE, because even for the real in-game PvE, you need composite mana stones, and they cost a lot of money, and you cannot really viably make money with grinding in this economy. On Europe, I don't know. On European Aion, maybe you can. On North American, you can't. You must rely only on events. If you do not want to spend real money, then you must rely only on events. So I managed to lower my expectations, and I managed to find areas in the game which I still enjoy. I still enjoy playing my 55s. I still enjoy helping people. I still enjoy making guides for people. I still enjoy running lower level instances with my friends. I enjoy crafting, even though it's a money thing. So yes, there are things that I still enjoy in the game. But personally, if I was a player that played in the old times, like in 2011, 2012, and I would come to Aion, back to Aion now after a 4-year break, I would fucking quit in a week. I would not stay here. And I would advise you to do the same. And Another thing that I'm not naive about is the change of the game. Many people think that if Saivo or me or whoever keeps making videos like this, that somebody is eventually, or if they keep making forum threads, that someone at NCSoft or NC West will eventually listen, and they maybe will, make some adjustments or take the game back to where it was. They won't. Forget about it. They will not. They simply will not. They will continue milking the cash shop for as long as the game goes, and then they will just close it down like they did with City of Heroes or some other games, because it will not make enough profit, and they will just shut the servers down. So there you have it. Where Aion was, where Aion is going, why I'm still playing it, and why I do not advise anyone who wants to come back to this game, and I do not advise anyone who wants to start playing this game to do so. It's not worth your time, believe me.